Ocean Collinson, the eagle brought us fire in the Sanish Nation. So I want to sing Eagle song. Honor that Collinson. He gave some things back when he burnt his feathers off his legs. He sacrificed, as we are sacrificing here today, a little bit of our strength for our children's children, grandchildren's children. So we all have to give a little something up to create a future. If we can learn from that Collinson. Haishkasian. Whoa, 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 hey, whoa, 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 hey, whoa, whoa,
What do we want? Lemon justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Wow. Right. All the cool spots.
This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
I think that person that I just was meeting. Yeah, so he's in the organizing. It's very bad, that's why
You look like you belong here.
I wouldn't try to breathe it. I know, man.
Fly, eagle, fly, soar to the sky.
Down there now. Now anyway.
Let's hear it for all the Earth Warriors!
OCM friends and relatives, my name is Michael Vendiola. I'm a member of the Swinomish Indian tribal community. I'm going to be helping out today with some of the work that we're going to be doing. Just to let you know, this is a traditional Swinomish territory, Samish territory, and we just want to welcome you here. We raise our hands to you, thanking you for standing in support of Mother Earth and protecting this water and this land. It's a beautiful thing for us to come together like this. Let's make some noise. At this time, we want to introduce one of our elders from the Swinomish Indian tribal community, Diane Vendiola. If you can have your attention, please.
It's a beautiful day to be alive. It's a good life. And since we have only one life, I'm glad that you are all here sharing your life with me today. I want to welcome all of you to unceded Swinomish territory right here. The key word there is unceded. That means it was taken. With that, as long as we understand what's happening, I'm proud to see all my people, all my relatives here, especially Marcus taking pictures over there. And I'm proud that my family is here with me, all members of the Swinomish tribe. We used to live right on the other side over there. It takes a long time to become wise. So I'm glad that there's a lot of white-haired people here. As I was telling my daughter and a few other people earlier, if it weren't for people like you, each and every one of you, women wouldn't be allowed to vote today. And we'd still have slaves. So I'm proud of all of you, and you're exactly where you need to be. You're doing the right thing. Welcome.
OCM, and Estrella OCM, Ite Squale, Rudy Vendiola Jr., son of Snat, Diane Villaluz, son of Tan, Rudolfo Vandy Vendiola, son of Man, Adelia Hilaire, George Villaluz, Melcher Vendiola, son of Sila, Edward Frank Hilaire, Christine Williams, son of Chumuk, Celia Tom Hagalitza, son of Ukwiuk, Hay Tuluk, son of Supiuk, Chuck Swinimish, Lactimish, Visayan son. Soit sono hilik quenas athlatia kaias CM, Soit sono hilik quenat tacho atia kaias CM. Makquia quenas quenal atia kaias. Nesqui quenas quail, aqua quenas quail. Nukchisan makquayan atia kaias CM. Statitum son, Statitum son, Atiakaias. Statitum son, Atiakaias, CCM. I'd just like to share a song in our teaching and in our way. I want to welcome each and every one of you like my mom did. Welcome you for this event. My hands go up to the folks that organized this. It took a lot of work. Okay? I also lift my hands up to the people in law enforcement out there to making sure everyone is safe. For those of you in the sheriff's department, I know who Willie Reichart is. Willie Reichart was my college roommate. He's the sheriff of this county. I gave him a call yesterday and said, hey, make sure everything goes in a good way. He says, I got your back. Before we sing, I'm going to have my son and I and some family sing with us. We had, I noticed earlier before you came here, there was a sign they had on the boats that said sacred waters that they had out there, which is true. We as Native people, even more so, I'm going to drill down a little further. This water is life. My mom mentioned earlier that we lived about a mile down the road, not even a mile down the road. And I remember with my dad crabbing out there. I remember crabbing on the other side and clamming for life. Back then, when we said, oh yeah, I'm going to have clam chowder, back then, that didn't mean open up a Campbell's soup of clam chowder. It meant we're going to be on the beach digging for clams. So this was our life. So each and every one of you who have come out today to support, justice, to protect Mother Earth, our water, our beaches. It's not only sacred, but it's life. It's a life for everyone. How we treat the earth that will be our legacy. If the earth cannot support human, then no one's going to live. So it won't matter these businesses, these corporations, these oil companies, if there's no one here on earth. Global warming, the water heating just a few degrees, then the salmon won't spawn. No fish. Can you imagine an earth with no fish? So this is just the start. So it's people like you here. Give yourself a round of applause for being here, supporting, making a stand, making a difference. So my son and I and our family here, we'll sing our Swinomish Eagle song, because like my mom said, this is our ancestral lands here. This is supposed to be part of our reservation, but it's not, and there's a whole legal issue around that. So we welcome you here, and again, we welcome, and I want to extend thanks to our cousins from Lummi. It was a beautiful thing. I lift up to our hands for our Lummi and our upper Skagit and our relations that are here from many tribes. It was a beautiful thing as you come down the road to hear that West Shore canoe song, West Shore Eagle song. Also heard the Swinomish canoe songs together. Man, hairs on the back of my head stand up as a singer, knowing those songs. Wow, leading everyone in a good way, with a good heart. You know. Earlier, I'm glad, again, I lift my hands out to the organizers. We had food and water and bananas for the folks, the elders, so we made sure they were taken care of. That's our way. That's our way. That's our Indian way. That's our teachings. You know, and hopefully we have that for, you know, I know you guys, 3.5 miles in? Okay. So, again, I lift my hands up to each and every one of you. This is a beautiful day for recognition. We're talking about culture and our native way. One of our native ways is that we call witnesses when we do this type of work. So I'm going to turn the mic over to my brother Michael, and he's going to be calling some witnesses for recognition. Again, for those of you who don't understand, this is just one of our Coast Salish ways and the way we do things to make it in an appropriate and respectful way. I should go.
OCM, thanking my brother for those words of welcome and introduction, and it is appropriate for us to call witnesses forward so that we can remember what's happened today, and these are folks who down the road, you know, we can call upon them to remember and recall what has happened here today. But we always like to say that everyone that's here is a witness as well. So we hope that you carry this story forward. But we want to call forward some witnesses. And I believe there's going to be 4 chairs that are going to magically appear up front here. And this is a part of our protocol. And one of the things before we started off our march this morning, that was some of the words that were shared. We're talking about relationships. And the value of relationships. And when we think about how we've come to where we're at now, a lot of that has to deal with relationships, or in other words, broken down relationships, where we're not appropriately communicating with each other and not hearing each other's voices and taking the time to listen to one another. And that's part of what we want to take care of today is making sure that we take care of these protocols and we take care of our relationships. Also, we want to make sure that everybody knows that our witnesses today, another part of their responsibility is to take these stories and the events that happened here today back to their home communities to share what was done here, the work that was done here today. And so we'll call them forward, and then at the end of the event, the end of the program, the end of our work, we'll ask them to step forward to share a few words. OCM. At this time, we want to call forward Auntie Juanita Jefferson from Lummi, asking you to come forward to be a witness for us today. We'd like to cover you, cover your heart, warm your heart so you can remember the work that's been done today. Tawith Loth. Tawith Loth. Thanking you for being here today. Hosiam. At this time, we'd like to call forward our relative from the Makah Nation, one of the council members from the tribe, Patsy Bain. Patsy Bain, recognizing you, thanking you for being here today. Patsy traveled here today, had an early start, brought her youth council with her. So we're just recognizing that good work that she's doing, asking you to come forward and remember today's work. Want to cover you and warm your heart.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Caroline Edwards. My Indian name is Galaya Litsa. I come from the Squaiquai family of Swinomish, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you all for coming on this windy, almost rainy day. It's getting kind of cold, but hey, we're still here, right? So I was asked to get up and speak, and you know, when I tell my friends and family that I'm going to be one of the speakers here, they kind of give me this look of like, why are you going to get up and talk? And you know, for me, that's kind of like, it's like, okay, where do I even start? This is, like my relatives have said, this is our ancestral territory. And the name that I carry, Galaya Litsa, Galaya, he was a treaty signer. And to fulfill my needs and my rights as to own that name, I'm doing that for my ancestors, my people of today, the water, the earth that we walk on, the air that we breathe, and the air that we're currently breathing is not okay. If you look to our right over here, it just doesn't look right. And that's why I am standing up here, is because not all of my people are able to be here to stand with all of you for this reason of protecting Mother Earth. And that's why I'm here, to be here for my people. We're not able to gather resources from here anymore because of this refinery. If you look at me, I'm obviously a modernized Native American. Yes, I do drive cars. Yes, I do all of that. I'm not going to lie. But at the same time, I understand that we need to start drifting towards the right direction of not utilizing those fossil fuels, because down the road, what's going to happen to our earth? You know, my family, we sing our family song during the blessing of the fleet. And one example that I use to my younger generations is, if there's going to be no salmon to sing to, what's going to happen to our family song? What's going to happen to those roots that my great-grandma Laura provided for us? You know, and I think that really hits hard when there's no drum to be drummed, and it hits their heart. And so I just, my heart is full of butterflies and of excitement, but it's also mixed feelings, because why should we have to come here together to do this? Why? Because, if people are already feeling the effects of global climate change across the nation, why hasn't our government done anything? This is kind of a question that's been happening for so long. It's kind of like, what the hell's going to happen? What the hell's going to happen here? How could they be so blinded? And so I just really want to thank all of you for being here, and thank you.
One more time for Caroline. And this banner over here, I don't know if you can read it. It says, "It's in our hands. Keep it in the ground." And that's one of the themes that's brought us together here today. And I'm going to bring my brother Rudy back up here and his son to finish the work that they began. While they're coming up here, we want to acknowledge the brothers and sisters that have stepped forward for the nonviolent direct action on the railroad track. Let's give them a big round of applause. Send our thoughts and prayers with them as they're putting themselves on the line. Yes, stand up for them. Stand up for them. Give them a big round of applause. Also, want to acknowledge our canoe family that's paddling in. They're making their way here. And we believe it's the Lummi Nation canoe family. And we want to make sure that we send a delegation down there to the water to welcome them ashore as they ask permission to come ashore here. At this time, I'm going to turn the microphone over to my brother Rudy.
Aishka. Earlier, we were going to sing a song from the Swinomish Canoe family in an appropriate way, our Eagle Blessing song. I'm going to have my son lead it. And the song is meant for each and every one of you. And as we sing, we want you to have a prayer in your heart. This is a prayer song. The story of this goes, my cousin, we call him Doughboy, and when he was out on the water, he was thinking of songs for the canoe journeys that was coming to Swinomish land. And as this eagle, we say a Kwalung song, flew over him, this song came to him that we're going to sing to you today. And that's why we consider it our Eagle Blessing song. Aishka.
Hey oh yo, hey oh yo, hey oh yo, hey oh, hey oh, oh hey, hey hey oh, hey oh, hey oh, hey oh, oh hey, hey 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 oh, hey oh, hey oh, hey oh, oh hey. Oh hey 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 oh yo hey oh yo hey oh yo hey oh oh hey 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 hey
It's a beautiful day. You have a beautiful rest of your day and enjoy the celebration, the festivities that will be going on.
If we could give one more round of applause for Rudy and his son and family from Swinomish, thanking them for sharing that song. We're inviting them to come down to the beach, friends and relatives. We have a canoe that's coming ashore here. They're going to be asking permission to enter our territory.
Bear with us as we cover the canoe family with a blanket. It's our appropriate Coast Salish tradition to take care of them and honor them for coming down to Swinomish land. So bear with us a little bit. We take care of this work. Haishkasia.
Again, acknowledging the protocol that's going forward, covering these young ones, the canoe paddlers and the ones that's helping them, the elders that traveled with them. Just thanking you for being here and raising our hands to you and supporting the work that's being done. This is a beautiful sight to see these young ones that are going to be carrying this work forward, carrying these canoes. You know, the responsibilities for these canoes, it's a really big responsibility. So to see these young ones stepping forward to do this work is really important. Just as important as our work to come out here and take a stand against the degradation of the environment. And we know that the resurgence of these traveling canoes is healthy. It's health for our communities. So we thank you for being here. Once again, as they get prepared to speak, we want to make sure, I mentioned this already, but down at the Nisqually Nation, they're going to be hosting this year's Tribal Journeys. That'll be the first week of August, and so you all are invited. And I'm looking out in the crowd right now, and I'm remembering your faces, so I better see you there. Now, this event is easily one of the largest events of Native North Americans gathering, tens of thousands of people gathering for a week-long protocol. And some of the canoes leave their home territories a month in advance to get to the final destination. And it's all about the resurgence of these canoes. So what an honor it is to have this canoe front and center, you know, setting the tone, setting the theme of what we aspire to be. So our young ones here made a big trip. You know, these canoes are powerful vehicles, and the canoes carried them all the way to Paris, France. Not literally. They didn't paddle there. But you get the idea. Pulling together, being one, having the concern of the community before their own concerns. You know, these are some of the values that they carry with them, and that is what brought them to Paris. And we're going to share those words. At this time, we're going to turn the mic over. Thank you. Haishkasiam.
Hello, everyone. I am Richard Jefferson. My tribal name is Hulaluk, and I am part of the Lema Youth Canoe family. I joined a year ago, but they themselves started up 5 years ago. And last December, we took a trip to Paris, France, and I'd like everyone who actually made that trip to raise your hands for me and come for and will stand for me. And I know that a lot of the people, if you see those people with the salmon on their sticks with the little wind catchers, I know they've supported us a lot. And I've been part of this family, and this family's really changed my life for the better. I came a year ago, and I've never been closer with so many people in my life, and I'm really happy to be here. I would also just like to thank again everyone for coming out today, letting us come out and protest with you. You know, ignore that guy in the pleasure boat out there. He's a little bit, I can't really say. But I'm really happy to be here, and I'm really happy to see like how many people are actually wanting to come out and protest. And, you know, yeah. Woo! And so when we went to Paris, I guess I should elaborate on that trip a bit more. We went to the COP21 summit, and that was a summit about climate change. And we went there to talk about all the with everyone and see what everybody else is doing to combat climate change and share and learn what we could bring home and what we could share with our communities to fight climate change. And we also went there to preach that our culture revolves around the water and how much we rely on the water, and that this culture has saved lives, and culture is prevention, and like not only suicide, but if we stayed with our culture, we wouldn't be in the problems we are right now. And I'm going to put Becky on the spot because she's the one that got me into all this, and she's also such our strong leader. She's the core of this group.
Thank you, Richard. For those of you, because I don't think any of you guys here, but my name is Becky Kinley. I'm the Youth Leadership Manager and the Social Marketing Coordinator for Lummi Nation. So I get the honor to lead each and every one of these youth that are standing here in front of you today. Each one of these kids are instilling their culture because their life matters. Not only do they think that for themselves, but they think that for you too. And I think that's what's so powerful, and that's what connects us together as humans. We're learning respect, we're learning love, we're learning generosity, and we're learning about life. And that's what really matters. It's not about drugs and alcohol. It's not about oil. Like, forget that, because it's killing us. And I think when these kids are standing up there and fighting for their life and their kids' life and their grandchildren's lives, that's why we stand here together. So before I turn over the microphone, we want to share a song with you guys. It's from the West Shore Canute family and the Lummi Nation. It's the Eagle song, and the eagle in our community represents leadership. It's the one bird that flies the closest to the Creator that can guide us through any obstacle.
OCM, a big round of applause for Lummi Nation. Before we excuse you, we want to invite Jewel James from the Lummi Nation to share a few words. Jewel has been a part of the Treaty Protection Task Force at the Lummi Nation for many years, and we want to recognize these young ones up here. Let's give them a big round of applause. Jewel James. OCM, before we have Jewel come forward to say a few words, my sister Deborah Parker here has a presentation she wants to give for the Lummi Nation. So on behalf of the organizers and the ones that put this event here today, we're acknowledging the work of the Lummi Nation in defeating the Cherry Point. Yeah, make some noise! So today we just want to acknowledge that tremendous work, and we have a paddle here that we want to present to a representative from the Lummi Nation to accept this and bring it back to the community and let them know that we're acknowledging them there, acknowledging the Lummi Nation here today.
Yeah, I said she's wrapping me like girl style.
He wanted it chief style. So. Gotta take care of our brothers here. He's too big for spaghetti.
Really proud to be here. On behalf of the chairman and Lummi Business Council and the great work that they have committed to, 4 years ago they asked us to form the Lummi Sovereignty and Treaty Protection Office to address the problems that they're confronting with Cherry Point and the proposed coal port that was going to go there. They had 20 years of the corporation meeting with them, influencing them, trying to persuade them, and they didn't think it was right, so they formed our office. We looked at it, and one of the first things that we recommended was that you have to say no first. It has to be no. And so the Lummi Nation did say no, but everybody we talked to, everybody we went to, legally, politically, they're saying, oh no, the corporation's going to win. They got too much power. You can't stop the permit, and so we watched the corporation that violated federal law, state law, county law, and the traditional laws of the Lummi Nation, and was not once prosecuted. And they said, trust us, trust us. When we first went to the Army Corps of Engineers, they said if we didn't sign that memorandum of agreement, they would sign it for us. And they would take and repatriate our ancestors' bodies. And it's at that time we stood up and walked out. We thought it was unacceptable. We told them that you don't have the teachings, you don't have the laws, you don't have the culture to deal with our ancestors. And we're insulted by that, and we will protect our traditional village, and we will protect the cemeteries of our ancestors. One of the important things was coalition building. We know that we have to persuade both government, we have to persuade the people that are making choices. And we know it's not just our battle, it's your battle too. And so we did campaigns to reach out, to form alliances. And even at home, people doubted that we're going to, or that we'd be successful. But the thing about these alliances is that when you look at the campaigns in front of us, we're in a state of war. We're in a battle to save the earth. We've been told that the corporations have the power, they have the money, and they have the politicians, and you cannot stop them. And they tell us that stuff to teach us to be afraid, to live in fear. They say the Patriot Act doesn't allow you to speak out anymore. Well, that's done to create fear, and we don't live in fear. No more fear, right? No more fear. Love. If you don't live in fear, then you can love the earth. Love. We love the earth, and that's a part of our culture. And I'm glad that our elders have always taught us to honor and respect the earth. It's a part of our culture. We're glad that the citizens groups and non-governmental organizations, environmental groups, Citizens for Protecting the Rivers, the churches have all come forward, and they're all bringing people to these gatherings. This is a good show of force. But it has to get bigger. It has to get bigger. You know, we went down and we worked with the people in Northern Cheyenne because they're going to have the biggest coal strip mine in the United States there. We brought a totem pole there, and Northern Cheyenne voted no against the coal. So Arch Coal went bankrupt and pulled out their permit application. They were going to go to the port of Morrill on the Columbia River, and the governor of Oregon said no. No permit for the port of Morrill. So now we look at all these campaigns that are taking place. We went down to the Yankton Sioux because Reuben George says you have to form a treaty with them. You have to form an alliance with them. We went down there and they had the Cowboy and Indian Alliance. We brought a totem pole down there to say that we're going to stand with you. They're fighting the Keystone Pipeline, and President Obama vetoed it. We're here to support you. We're here to support our allies up at Tsleil-Waututh. We went up to the Beaver Lake Cree with a totem pole and gave one to them. And their community was afraid of the company, the corporations, the tar sands expansion. And their people reversed themselves and said, no, we're going to fight them. Not only that, they took the traditional people that greeted us and asked us to come up there and put them in power for their negotiations. So, through unity, when we walk in unity, when we go and let them know that you're not alone. You are not alone. We hear you. We feel you. We're with you. I was in a big conference in Vancouver, and Ta'a, the mother of Reuben George, she looked at all these people. There was twice as many as you that are here representing these environmental groups. And she said, the women are up front. The women are blockading. Yeah. The women are marching. The girls are doing it. She said, where are you men? Where are you men? And she had tears in her eyes. And she said, stand up, you men. And they didn't stand up. She goes, what's wrong with you? You need to be with your women and your daughters. You got to walk with the grandmothers. Stand up, you men. And they didn't stand up. And she said, I'm telling you, warrior up. And so the men stood up. The men stood up. So we got to make sure that they continue to back the women, because this is about Mother Earth. Yeah. It's about a spirit. Yeah. It's about our mother. Yeah. What are we going to do for our kids? What are we going to do for our kids? We're going to save the earth. Yes. We're going to continue. Yes. You know, I tell people that I was fortunate in '91 because I got to know Petra Kelly down in Mexico. We helped write a statement for the state of Mexico for Earth Summit. She formed the Green Party of Germany, and she was with Chernosenko, the retired generals for peace. And they said, if we're not Rio de Janeiro in '92, it's because they killed us, because we're standing up. and they were, quote, suicided. They committed suicide by shooting themselves in the back of the head. That was the ruling. They gave their life for the vision that all of us working together internationally can save the earth. So that's our goal, to save the earth, and we have to call out the churches. We don't, they issued an apology in 87, 97, and 2007 for the damages they've done for Native Americans. It's not the apology, it's the action. Turn it into action. Make your words something. Pope Francis, I don't know if anybody read it, but Pope Francis did a great encyclical in May of 2015. It's great. We got to read it, but we got to take it to action. We want the Catholics to come out in force and show that they really love the earth. All Christians, all people have to come together. And so together we'll revive the spirit of the earth. We went down to heard the Sioux, they said the Missouri River is dying. The Columbia River is dying. The Fraser River is dying. The Athabascan River is dying. And we know there's a huge fire up in northern Alberta because they took all the water for the tar sands and couldn't put out the fires that are on their own homes. This is the future. We got to reverse it. My brother was on a bus and there was 2 Sioux kids. And he said, "Where are you from?" They said, "From a Sioux reservation." "Where are you going?" "Seattle." "Why are you leaving your reservation?" They said, "Because you can light the water that comes out of your faucet. You can light it on fire. There's nothing for us there." This is not what we're fighting against. And so we just want to extend on behalf of the Lummi Nation our love and appreciation for all the support of all of you. Because united, we'll continue to work and win. The Army Corps of Engineers said because of the Constitution, because of the treaty, because of the Supreme Court decisions, and because of your culture and spirituality, they decided in our favor and supported our fishermen. Haishka.
What do you say, ladies and gentlemen? One more big round of applause for Jewel James, Lummi Nation. At this time, we want to raise our hands to our Lummi Nation youth, a canoe family, just many Haishkas, just thanking you for being here today, and we wish you safe journey as you journey on. We'll see you down in Nisqually. Haishka Siem, thank you. We have, for our next speaker, Paul Wagner, who's going to share a few words. We're going to invite him to the stage at this time. Let's give a big round of applause.
Siam Nishtilacha Siam, Asa Chiokten, Chilayetson Ut Husseinich, Leatula, Iasan Techel Swahela Siam, Oh Masi Hai. It's good to see everyone today. I am Chiokten. I'm from Saanich Nation on Vancouver Island there. And, you know, we are all related. We've heard this. I heard an elder say this once at a gathering. The elder is, I don't know, more gathering, and he said, "You are my brothers and sisters, each and every one of you. You know how I know this?" He said, "If you cut yourself, do you not bleed red?" Anyone bleed red out there if they cut themselves? That's right. He said, "That's how I know we are related." He said, "Maybe if you cut yourself and some other color comes out, maybe we're not related to each other. Maybe you're not my brother or sister." He said, yeah. But maybe he hasn't seen some sci-fi shows, so I don't know. But with this, we are all in the same canoe today. Each and every one of us. Even these people here that are lost, that do not know what they're doing to future generations on this earth. I ask you to think about one thing. I have a short bit of time to say something, and I want you to think about this. Our Mother Earth here has been abused for 500 years through linear colonial action, without ever giving anything back, without any reciprocity. There is a limit to that form of abuse. Because that linear action says to everybody, it says it's about me. That action is outside of the circle of life. The circle of life requires, through our ancient teachings, I know it requires that we give something back. We give an acknowledgement back. We give something back to tell those people all the things that are gifts in our lives that sustain us, that they are honored. If our Mother Earth reaches the point, a tipping point, where there is no return with our climate, there will be a reciprocity. There will be a great giving back. And that will not be of our choice. Because that great giving back will be the bones of our grandchildren back to our earth. It will be the bones of every one of our grandchildren and their children back to the earth. And there will be no more human life on this earth if it reaches that point. We must grab hold of these ancient teachings and get them to young people. The future depends on it. Life on earth, if that happens, will be terrible. But it will continue, maybe in a terrible way, for a long time. And I love trees. I love our ancient ancestors when I go to a forest. I love the water and our islands and all people I love. But maybe the one thing that will get them to think about what we're doing is that our grandchildren will not be here if our Mother Earth reaches that tipping point. I thank each and every one of you for the strength that you hold in your heart. You bring to this place, to the land of the Swinomish people. Can we raise our hands to the Swinomish here in our tradition and lift them up? Because they have to breathe this horrible crap that's coming from these people who are lost. God bless the people who have to breathe this air. It does not make my throat feel good. It does not make me feel good at all. We should not have to breathe this. Because in our Chalangit, we have a Chalangit. Our belief is our Chalangit is our birthright. Our birthright as human beings is to have the gifts of our mother and take care of them, receive them, and there will be no want in the hearts of human people until the end of time if we grasp and hold on and take care of that Chalangit. Each and every one of you has that very same birthright, and so do our grandchildren. And that's why we're here today, to fight for their birthright, to clean water and clean air to breathe. A world worth living in, that has a future, that has harmony, that has true peace amongst all things. Because peace is not just amongst humans. Peace is amongst all things on this earth. These corporations, they're delivering war They are delivering war to all of the elements in nature. They are delivering war to future generations. And we must correct this. We must use everything that we have, every strength that we have, and pull people together as a human family and put a stop to this era of destruction. Haishka CM. Thank you, honorable people. We'll see you again.
For our next speaker, we have a person that stood with indigenous people over in Paris, France. She's a presidential candidate for the Green Party. Jill Stein, give it a big round of applause.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all who are here. Thank you especially to the Squamish Nation for welcoming us to your beautiful land, for us to come with you, to stand in solidarity with you, to fight with you for the world that we deserve, for the clean water and the healthy food and the clean air and the humanity that you have shown so much a beautiful example of. We thank you for that. We thank all of the indigenous nations of the Salish Seas. And I think we thank indigenous people everywhere for inspiring and leading the climate movement with your vision and your values and your spirit, that you have done so much to teach us of the sense of Mother Earth and how we are all one together as one people. And as Paul was saying, we must also be with the people inside of the refinery. I have had the pleasure, the honor of standing in the picket lines with the workers on strike in the refineries in Houston, Texas, where they knew what it meant to walk inside that refinery, because the minute they go inside, they take their life in their hands. Their risk of dying inside the factory, inside the refinery, goes up sevenfold, 700%. The risk of dying just for walking into a fossil fuel job. And when they heard that we are calling in the Green Party and in my campaign, we are calling for the right to a job for everyone, the right to a healthy job and a living wage job and a full-time job, so that as we move forward on an emergency basis to 100% clean renewable energy, we guarantee the fossil fuel workers that they will be covered, their income will be covered, and their benefits will be covered. And it's not only the workers in the fossil fuel industry, it's all of us that deserve a living wage and the right to a job and to health care benefits and retirement. And it's also the right of our young people to have an education all the way through and including college that should be provided for free. And that means canceling the debt like we did for Wall Street. It's time to bail out the students who are the victims of Wall Street. I'm all for Bernie. I support Bernie. But Bernie has a party that doesn't support him, I'm sorry to say. So for many people, we are Plan B when the Democratic Party does its thing, as it has done over and over. So not to get political here, because we are for a vision and a world and an America that works for all of us. And I want to make the point, right now, we are spending more than half of our budget in the United States on these wars for oil that are blowing back at us with a vengeance. We can take those dollars, which are destroying hospitals and schools and homes, and put them into building hospitals, schools, and homes all over the world, actually, for the cost of our military. But we can also use that money. That will fund the emergency program that we need right now, which we are calling for. A Green New Deal. Like the New Deal that got us out of the Great Depression, we need that New Deal right now in a green form to take care of two emergencies. We have an economic emergency and we have a climate emergency. We call for 20 million jobs right now to transition on an emergency basis to a green economy, 100% clean renewable energy by 2030. That's an emergency that we must meet. We can put everyone to work creating that new green economy, clean energy, a healthy, sustainable, local organic food system, and public transportation, and restoring our ecosystems so we can reclaim our fisheries and our clamming industry and our oyster industry, which is being destroyed by pollution, which is being destroyed by climate change, which is acidifying our waters. So we can fix this. We can revive the economy, we can turn the tide on climate change, and we can make the friggin' wars for oil obsolete. And I want to just finally echo our Lumi brother who spoke earlier about the Lummi brother who spoke earlier so beautifully about rejecting fear and rejecting silence and not buying into any lesser evil. We have to fight for the greater good. It's the greater good, not the lesser evil, because our lives depend on it. And they do. All of our lives, our future, our climate, our nature, Mother Earth, we are all in this canoe together. Together we have the power. Remember this, 43 million people who are locked in student debt. There's only one campaign that will cancel that debt. You are looking at it right now. 43 million people is enough to win a presidential race. It is a winning plurality in a three-way race. Get the word out. We have the power. We can create an America and a world that works for all of us. Thank you to the Indigenous nations for leading the way. Thank you for all of your courage.
At this time, we're going to turn the floor over to Rebecca Lieberman, who's speaking on behalf of Kashama Sawant, who is not able to be here today. So let's give her a big round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. I know we're getting a little cold. My name is Rebecca Lieberman. I work in the office of Seattle City Council member Kshama Sawant. And like Kshama, I am a member of Socialist Alternative. Kshama was not feeling well at all today, and she asked me to convey her sincere apologies that she could not be here speaking and marching with you all. And she very much wishes that she could have joined this fight, which is truly a landmark event for our fight against climate change. Thank you to the Indigenous nations and community leaders hosting today's events, and the organizers of Break Free, 350 Seattle, and all the activists here. We all know that capitalism has failed the overwhelming majority of people and the planet. Rather than motivating sustainable development and the equitable use of resources and wealth, capitalism incentivizes the very opposite. To defeat climate change, to put society back on the right track, we're going to have to dismantle this system and build a new world through democratic, socialist planning. We can succeed if we get organized. In recent weeks, we have seen fantastic victories. The defeat of the attempt to build the world's largest natural gas-fueled methanol plant in Tacoma, and the Lummi Nation's victory against what would have been North America's largest coal export terminal. These are hugely inspiring to our movement. To continue our struggle, we, as environmental activists and workers, need to keep building a united and international struggle against big oil and the corporate politicians globally who give big oil a free pass. Shama and socialist alternatives stand in solidarity with Break Free, calling for a just transition for workers in the fossil fuel sector to clean energy, living wage, unionized jobs. Oil corporations pretend that they care about workers, but we know that it is simply a ruse to keep workers and environmentalists divided. Just last month, the EPA fined Tesoro $720,000 for safety violations found during safety inspections right here in Anacortes at their refinery. This comes in the wake of a courageous strike last year by the United Steelworkers protesting the company's refusal to address safety concerns after the disastrous 2010 explosion that killed 7 people. Our movements need our own independent representation. Our recent historic victories in Seattle on $15 an hour and our movement's success in rejecting Columbus Day and ushering in the celebration of Indigenous peoples demonstrate that only an independent force of the 99%, a new party based on workers, young people, environmentalists, and labor, will be able to fight Wall Street and big business. Let's keep building our movement to truly help humanity and our planet break free from the strangleholds of this system of destruction, exploitation, and oppression. Thank you.
How's everybody doing? Y'all okay? Want some hors d'oeuvres or something? We're gonna give you something better. We saved the best for last. This is my sister from the Anishinaabe Nation. She traveled over here. She goes by Star Naia. I like to call her All-Star Naia. So let's give her a big round of applause. We turn the microphone over to her. Oh, I forgot to mention Grammy Award winner. We want to make sure you know that. And you got to buy her music because of that. It's so good. One more big round of applause, Star Naia.
Aishka, thank you. Whoops, something got on there. That happens. So in my language we say chimigwech, but I'm kind of adopted about a few times here in the Pacific Northwest. So I've been here for 7 years this July, and part of me comes from the plains, Michigan, the Great Lakes up there, and the other part, who knows where I come from, right? My sister down there. So listen, I want to tell you all a quick story. Yes, I am a native Grammy Award recording artist, but before I did that, I was a young girl who used to dream about making a difference with music, making a difference with a message, making a difference in this world because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. 20 years ago, right around this time, I wrote a song. The song is called In Our Hands. 20 years later, I got a call from Deborah Parker asking if I would sing at an event. I said, sure. What's the event called? In Our Hands. I said, boy, have I got a song for you. The song I wrote was before I had a child. I have an 18-year-old son. The song I wrote was not really written by me. It was given to me from my ancestors. It was given to me by Creator. I'm not sure how that works, but it was given to me, and I am merely a vehicle. So we're all breathing this air. We need to say a prayer for the communities, for Swinomish, all the communities and the people that live out here that breathe this air every day. When the wind blows, I can't believe the eagles that are circling above, that they can even stand to circle above so high and breathe in this air too. So we need to say a prayer, and we need to change what we do today for our children's tomorrows. So this is how the song goes. I want to say it to you. Let me see if that helps. I want to say it to you, and then I want you to listen because you're going to sing the chorus with me. So the chorus goes like this. It's in our hands. What will we do? It's in our hands. It's up to me and you. It's in our hands. Grandmother's not ours to borrow. It's in our hands today for our children's tomorrows. 20 years ago, those words. Can you imagine? And now today, look where we are. So remember those words. I'm going to ask you to sing them with me. And the song goes like this. In a world of tomorrow, will we know what to do? In our times of sorrow, we must survive and see things through. In this race we've been given, we are living the wrong way. Grandmother Earth, she's trembling in our hands today. From her mountains to her prairies and her waters as they flow. Yet all of life as we know it surely finds a way to grow. It's a privilege we abuse each and every day. Our children's tomorrows, it's in our hands today. Although the sun is shining, people walk like they cannot see. Blind to the harm, deaf to a message. Here's where the chorus comes in. You ready to sing? It's in our hands. What will we do? It's in our hands. It's up to me and you. It's in our hands. Grandmother's not ours to borrow. It's in our hands today for our children's tomorrows. One more time. It's in our hands. You got it? What will we do? It's in our hands. It's up to me and you. Say it's in our hands. Grandmother's not ours to borrow. It's in our hands today for our children's tomorrows. A picture perfect world, a vision of freedom taken for granted when we could simply hold a coming together of every human spirit, our need to cherish and learn from the old ones. It's in our hands. What will we do? It's in our hands. It's up to me and you. Say it's in our hands. Grandmother's not ours to borrow. It's in our hands today for our children's tomorrows. One more time, louder. It's in our hands. What will we do? It's in our hands. It's up to me and you. Say it's in our hands. Grandmother's not ours to borrow. It's in our hands today for our children's tomorrows. say it's in our hands today for our children's tomorrows. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you. Miigwech. Chimigwech. Awesome. All right.
Cover all the bases.
One more round of applause for Star Naia. At this time, we have the wireless over here already. We're going to give the floor over to our witnesses, and we just raise our hands to you, just thanking you for being here today and witnessing the work. And again, we're asking you to bring forward these stories back to your home communities and sharing what was done here today. This time we're going to turn the floor over to Aunt Juanita Jefferson from the Lummi Nation.
Haishka Siam. Haishka. Haishka Siam. Haishka Nisjalacha Siam. Haishka, I can't thank you enough. Friends and relatives, best of people, we're grateful today for this gathering, for all the good words and all the good feelings that have been brought out and shared here. And I believe that what I've witnessed today is that all that has been shared is in your hearts, that it is coming from the spirit of all of us here today. And that I would like to thank each and every one for all the good, all the strong feeling, all the support, knowing that everything that has been gained today is for the children of the future, the children unborn. We pray that the day comes when they can look back and say, I'm thankful to my ancestors, all the people who shared in keeping this world safe and clean and healthy. And that those children will know that we loved them so much we were willing to do this now today. And as the song said, the star said, it's up to us, it's in our hands. And so I'm grateful that I could witness this today, this wonderful work. And the big banner that was here, I was trying to memorize it and help me come back to it. It's about to get rid of big oil and to replace it with 100% renewables. Break free from big oil. Yes. and just being here today and being barely able to breathe, I really appreciate this message. And all of those who have to bear this horrible error and not even know it, innocently bear this horrible, unhealthy error and not even know that it's being done to them. And so we who are grandmothers say, how dare you do this to our children? How dare you do this to our children? And for all the children that are here, all the children that are here, know you are special. Know you are loved. Know that your presence here means everything to us. For my beautiful little relatives that came from Lummi, I am so grateful to all they do and for their willingness to sacrifice this way. The children from all these tribes, Tulalip, Swinomish, Nooksack, all our neighboring tribes, we're grateful to these young people who will stand up and share their hearts with us today. So with that, I just want to say thank you for having me as a witness. It's a great honor to share this work with the ones sitting here with me, and I look forward to all that they're going to carry forward in their ways when they go back to their villages. Each and every one, please carry the message back to your villages. Haishka Siam.
Haishka Siam, thanking our relative from Lummi Nation. Okay. Yeah, we're asking the speakers to come up here right in the middle so we don't get any feedback. So just right here is good, Ruben. And we're speaking out of order, but just to let everybody know and our folks that are paying attention, Ruben is going to, Chief Ruben George is going to speak before Patsy because our two final speakers, they want to speak together. So we're respecting that and acknowledging that. So I'm going to turn the floor over to Chief Ruben George.
ACM Hajka CM Siayat. Chief Skalut Snot to Slewatu. Chief Yopanon Snot to Slewatu Squamish. I think to sum up everything that I heard tonight, it's pretty simple. What I could say is what I heard is that we're winning. Do you think we're winning? Do you really think we're winning? That's right. You know, I know for a fact here that in the United States that there's $850 billion to $1 trillion a year spent on fossil fuels here. Canada is one of the #1 suppliers. The population of Canada is still smaller than the population of California and New York, but Canada is the #1 polluter of harmful chemicals in our atmosphere. It's because the Alberta tar sands. The size of Earth that they want to move is the size of Texas. And they bring the oil right here. One of these refineries here carries that same oil that's killing people. I seen people when we went to the Alberta tar sands with blisters from head to toe. The lady that told me said her kids were 5 and 6 years old getting treated for cancer. And she said they're getting chemo and they're trying to work on trying to save their lives. I was holding a bottled water and she says, that's the only thing we could drink. The doctors told them if they bath their children for more than 2 minutes at a time, that they're going to get sick as well. So when we had a referendum, Kinder Morgan and some of the oil companies were offering up towards $300 million per nation to negotiate with these oil companies and let these pipelines go through our territory. So we brought that to our people. And we said, this is what they want to do. And our elders stood up and they said, it's reason enough for us to say no in Alberta where our relations are dying. That's reason enough for us to say no. One of our elders held up one of his grandsons, and I'm saying no for my great-grandchild. One of our elders held up some earth he picked up outside and some money in the other hand and said, this money is not here forever, our earth is. And that's why we said no, and my mother stood up and she said, when we vote on this, I don't want any of your butts to be in your seat. When we vote on this to say no, I want every one of you to stand up and warrior up and say no, and that's what happened. There was 100% consensus by Testellio Nation to not vote no against it and to not negotiate and to stand up against it. What I can say about that is we're really winning. We are going to stop them. I was down in Houston, Texas. I talked to Richard Kinder himself and the shareholders, and I said the Canadian Constitution protects our Indigenous rights, and we're winning 97% of our court cases against resource extraction. That's 170 legal cases in the last 2 years. And I see this all over the world happening. Indigenous people standing up and people fighting. But what I believe is us Canadians and Americans, we have to wake up. When I was in Italy and France and Germany or South America, Brazil, Panama, when I've been to these different places to help people stand up the way we are, when I go into back countries, there's half the groceries on the shelves. They're already feeling the effects, but we are here too. I know the first time ever Arizona's going to have no farms cultivated this year. Ironically enough, Las Vegas is not going to have enough water and Hoover Dam to service power to that city in short 3 years. We're feeling the effects. It's happening right now. People have to wake up. I look out here and I say, it's not an environmental person problem. It's not a tribal or First Nation problem. It's everybody's problem. And we have to, we have to stand up. We have to do something about it. We have to. The tides have changed. I believe with our Indigenous rights, what Canadian Constitution protects and the treaties here, industry can't do nothing now without talking to us. But with you, hand in hand, moving together, as what we say in my language, as Natsamat, as one heart, as one mind, and one prayer, we'll spread the message to the people that need to hear it so we could do something for our future generations and change it. Because I know the tide's changed. We are winning, but we have to make it better. We have to make it stronger, and we have to do it now. So thank you for your support and the love for the work that you have. I thank you for standing up. I thank you for loving it enough. I thank you for the humanity that you carry within in yourself. And I ask you continue to fight and join us one together as one heart, one mind, and one prayer. Hosiam, thank you very much.
OCM, we're raising our hands to Chief Reuben George, a relative from the Canadian First Nations. Thanking you for being here today, sharing your wisdom, being a witness for the work that was done here today. Haishkasiyam. At this time, we have our two final witnesses, Patsy Bain from the Makah Nation and Tyson Johnson from the Quinault Nations, and they're speaking together, just raising their hands to you, thanking you for being here and being a witness for the work here today.
O'clock Sal, that means good day in our language. My traditional name is Ocha Si'i, and that means Lady of the Sea. We come from Quidditch Cha'at, Jalen, Austin, Ian, and Robert. I brought this youth here with me today because it's my job as a tribal leader to protect their future. And that means our air, our land, and our water. And I don't want to take much of your time today because these youth here want to speak for themselves and they want to tell you their message.
So hi, my name is Jalen Jmakum. If you're wondering what I'm wearing, I'm the current Makah Days Queen. I'd like to see you guys come out for Makah Days in August. It's going to be a fun celebration, gathering of the grandmothers. During the time of the treaty signing in 1855, our ancestors didn't have to worry about modern day problems such as fish consumption rates, ocean acidification, climate change, global warming, and toxic cleanups in our land and water. We all need to be responsible managers, just as our ancestors have taught us.
Hi everyone, my name is Austin Jimacum. I am the Associated Student Body President at my high school on the Makah Reservation. Tribes have always been the best managers of our resources for sustainability for future generations. We were taught to only take what we needed. That was our way of life as Indian people. We have been here on these lands since time immemorial. Modern times have brought us to today, and we all need to be responsible managers of our environment, just as our ancestors have taught us.
I'm one of the youth Patsy has been taken to many of these type of events. Today we have to ask ourselves, what kind of carbon footprint will we leave for our future generations? What will the environmental impacts be taking? Be thinking 7 generations ahead. We need to educate, just as we are right now. And by bringing awareness. We need to be responsible managers of our environment, just as our ancestors taught us to be.
So yesterday on our drive up here, I was asking the kids what kind of message that they wanted to tell you, and that's what they said, is that we all need to be responsible managers for our environment, just as our ancestors have taught us. So that's what they wanted to leave with you today. And I wanted Tyson Johnston to stand with me here today, because we fought for Lummi when we went over to DC. We lobbied together, and that's what it took, was for all of us to come together, that they couldn't do it alone. And I want to thank everybody here today for coming together and supporting one another for this fight that we're hopefully not going to have to continue to fight. But we just wanted to let you know, spread the word that our treaties are not for sale, that our younger generations are not going to be driven by industry. So want to ask Tyson to speak now. Thank you on behalf of the Makah Nation.
Anugritu, I'm Tyson Johnston. I'm the Vice President at the Quinault Indian Nation. It's a beautiful day to be here, and it's wonderful to share these moments with each and every one of you in unceded territory of our Native peoples that hosted this event today. The beautiful thing that Patsy talked about is the struggle in Cherry Point, as well as the battles that we're facing all over the Northwest, have really reignited ancient ties that we have with our brother and sister tribes. And it's been a beautiful thing, because for many years we're getting caught up in the rhetoric and the Western way of thinking as far as approaching our natural resources, when really it's our values and our culture that should be central and the foundation to that. And so going through this has really reignited that, and it's something that we need to continue building upon. But I'd really like to thank Deborah and everybody, all the organizers that allowed me to be a witness today. This really is it's a war that we're in. It feels that way. And I think we need to stop thinking about it battle by battle and start thinking global in scale. Quit using these lines of the nation states that divide us and start thinking global in scale. And we could, thank you, that's right. We could defeat any individual proposal, but until we actually change our ways, we change the legal frameworks and ban those things from even being a possibility here in the state or throughout the world, we're going to continue going through this. So I just hope that all of us realize that we're global citizens. Us indigenous people will continue to invoke our treaties, invoke our culture and our way of life to defend really for the next 7 generations, and thinking the previous 7 back. It's a scary thing to think about. Look at all the pollution that's out here. When I heard our brother talk about how his people can't even gather their traditional foods anymore, that breaks my heart. Here in Washington State, you've heard a lot about the fish consumption rate, and really all that's about is water quality. They're using how much fish you consume to really determine the water quality rules that exist in our everyday life. But for us, this isn't just about protein. It's not just about food. That feeds our bodies. It feeds our spirit. It feeds our identity. And so when those things are taken from us, it's really hard to articulate what that damage is overall. And so my heart really goes out to the people here that can't gather in their traditional spaces. And it's something that I need to not take for granted in my homeland. But again, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here today. It's an honor to stand with the Makah tribe and the wonderful youth and everything they shared today. And I hope that we continue building upon this even beyond this, beyond the actions and beyond the political flavor of the day. We need to change our way of lives and start living better whole people. But anyway, Seal Quiel Masi Eastland.
I just wanted to share real quick that I'm really proud of our youth that sang a lot of our songs on our 3-mile walk here. These kids right here speak our traditional language, and I'm just really proud that they were able to share those songs. Some of them were their family songs that they sang, and I just wanted to acknowledge that. And I would like to thank the Swinomish for having us come here today and bringing us together and bringing this awareness and supporting one another. And on behalf of the Makah tribe, we want to gift this to you. And in our language, we say klako, klako.
Well, see, I'm thanking our relatives from the Makah and Quinault Indian nations for being here today and bearing witness to the work that's been done. I'll make sure that this gift from the Makah Nation gets to our tribal leadership and remembering what has occurred here today. And we're thanking our witnesses and wishing you safe journeys home.